Hi everyone, this is a video on how to put back your trumpet after you've already cleaned it. So these are the materials you'll need, or I would say you need valve oil, so I'm using blue juice. And then you need some slide grease. So there's many different types of valve oils and slide greases. I use a Hetman's slide grease. This is a really heavy slide grease for my trumpet. This will probably be too heavy for yours, so you can use something like this, a box slide grease, or you can even use a Shilky slide grease. Whatever slide grease you have, it'll work while putting back your trumpet. So the first step I like to do is I like to put my valves back. See here, this is the layout of the valves. This is the layout. So you have the bottom caps, you have the valve itself, you have this thing, the spring, and then you have the top cap. And this does come off. This does come off. You just have to unscrew this, and then it's this thing, the stem, the felt, the cap, and then the top. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first assemble these. So sometimes there's water still in this, so what I like to do, there's a little hole here. See that? It's a little hole. I like to blow in it and it shoots the water out from the top. Now if you don't feel comfortable with this, if you didn't clean your trumpet with soap and water, I wouldn't do this, but I usually do this because I don't like the water inside my valves. So I usually do this and then I dry it with a microfiber cloth. So and you can shake it too. You can shake it out like that, or maybe not there, but over there you can shake it out like that and just dry it. Make sure there's no water on the valves. Okay, now we're going to start to assemble these valves. So if you notice this this thing, forgot the name of it, but there's a, I don't know if you can see that, there's a thick side and there's a skinny side. So if you look at your valve, remember, again, it doesn't matter if you get this mixed up, it's fine. What matters is your valve itself once you put everything together, but we'll go into that in a second. So if you notice that there's a thick side and there's a skinny side, if you notice on your valve itself, there's also a skinny side and a thicker side. So you basically just you want to go in on the wider side, right? So you go there like that, and then you go in at an angle, you go in like this. Hope you can see that. Going like that, and then you just give a little twist, and then it goes down. If yours does not go down, then it's probably on the wrong side. So, for example, if you try to put it in, and it goes like this, it won't turn, right? Or if it turns and it won't go down, right? It's not going down. Don't force it. Just take it out. Try it the other way, and then it should go down. Mine are brass, so if you have plastic, it's the same thing. If you're wondering why mine are metal, put the spring back in, and then you just put the top back on, and you twist. And you just repeat the process. Just look here. This side's the bigger side. And if you also want to know, for my trumpet, I don't know if you can see that, but it says 3, so it basically says the valve number on it. So the valve number on it is facing me, so that means that the wider side is on the left side, and the facing me, of course, or if it's facing the camera, the wider side will be on the left, the skinnier side will be on the right. Put the spring back in, put the stem and the cap back in. If you're having difficulty screwing these in, you can always put a little bit of oil on the threads. Just kind of helps a little bit. So I just kind of do a little hand tight, little snug. Now every trumpet's, some trumpets are a bit different. So if yours is not quite going in, then just maybe try to do it the other way. But for the most part, they should all be the same. And if you see here, you have the numbers. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put these in order. Notice here, you have a 1. I don't know if you can see that, but it says 1. Every valve has a number on them. So this is 1, 3, 2. So I'm just going to move that there, and that like that. So your valves are all put together. Okay. So now, the next step. The next step doesn't really matter. Again, doesn't matter where you start. Personally, I like to start with the main tuning slide, because sometimes if you get excess grease, you can use that excess grease elsewhere. So I like to use I like to start with this one, and have yourself a rag to wipe off the excess grease, because there's going to be, you know, it kind of gets a little messy. So I'm going to open up my grease, or my slide grease. Sometimes it comes in a little jar. Just dip it with your finger and just spread it on the slides. But for me, it's like this. Again, I'll leave links in the description. So just spray some on, spread some on. Now this stuff's really thick, so just kind of spread it on like that. Now it won't hurt if you put too much on. However, if you just put a whole bunch on, you're just kind of wasting. And it's better if the slides are all dry, completely dry. After you just literally just take your microfiber cloth or your paper towel and just literally wipe down the slides themselves. This part, it just makes the slide grease stick on a lot better. So I'm just go around it like that. There. And what I like to do is I like to just grab my trumpet. Now to put this back on, it goes this side. I don't know if you can see that. This is the spit valve. Spit valve should be facing down. It does not go in like this. So if you're putting it in like this, it's wrong. It should be like this. It should be like going in like that. So I like to usually kind of put it in a little bit like that, and then put it in like that, just a little bit. Just kind of get it going, and just put them in. And that's really hard. If you notice, there's a lot of excess grease, a lot of excess slide grease. Don't worry, you can just literally move your finger like this, and now you're able to go on to the next slide. If you have too much, I like to put in the valves last, because if you put in the valves first, you have to hold down the valve, and you have to put in the slide, and it's just best to leave those for last. Remember, it doesn't matter what order you put the slides in. I just prefer this way. I'll just grab a little bit here. This here. Like that. see this excess here. Put it right here. Okay. Make one little dot here. Remember, if you have a student trumpet, yours is most likely not going to have this out, but this will already be connected, so don't try to pull this out. This does not come out on yours. See here. Okay, the next step will be to do this one. You only need a little dab, and then a little dab here. And this one. This one I only put a little bit of grease on. You don't really use this, so I don't have to really be too concerned. So once you have put all the slides in, you'll notice that you have excess grease. Just wipe it off with a towel. I'll do that at the very end. So you could do that now, or you can do it at the end. Make sure your valves are nice and clean before you put them in. I like to just wipe them with a microfiber cloth. Now, out of all these steps, the hardest part would be putting the valves back in, but it's pretty easy once you do it a couple times. It's not too hard. Remember, if you're under 7 years old, have your parents help you with this step, because it can be a little tricky. Okay, so first things first, we gotta get the bottom caps in. I like to just kind of clean them out a little bit so they're nice and clean. You can also put a little bit of oil on the threads right here if they're kind of fighting you. It's just a little bit of a lubrication. Just put a little bit of your valve oil, of course, not any other type of oil, but valve oil. See, so this one's kind of, for me, this I remember always on one of my threads are a little bit worn out, so I usually like to put a little bit of valve oil on this one. So just put a little bit of valve oil here, a little bit in here. Go. And it threads right on. Hands. Okay, make sure they're nice and tight. There we go. Okay, so the last part will be to put your valves in the trumpet. So this part, there's no right or wrong way to put your valve oil on. You can never have too much valve oil, so I like to put my valve oil on like this. If you don't want to, you can just literally put your valves in and then just lube them up like that. But I prefer to do it this way, so I like to put a little bit of valve oil inside the casing itself. So do a couple drops here inside, a couple drops, and then I do it on the other side. And then what I like to do, so because this is the first valve, I like to just drench it with valve oil. Don't worry if that comes off. Literally drench it. This is actually the proper way to put valve oil on it. If there's any like contaminants or anything, it just kind of slides off. So just want to kind of go from the top down. It's okay if you use a lot of valve oil. There we go. So now, putting the valve in is a bit tricky, but I'm gonna try to demonstrate it this way. So you want the number facing you. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but there's the number facing you, and if on your horn doesn't have that, that's fine. You look at this. You look at the wide part of it, this little thingy, this little washer, I would say, and you look at the skinny one. You want to put them in at a little bit of an angle. Okay, so if you're looking at the trumpet this way, the little one is gonna be on the right side. So it's not gonna be exactly like sideways like this. It's gonna be just a little bit at an angle that way. Okay, a little bit front. The reason why is so you're gonna have to twist this top right here, the stem. You're gonna have to twist this top clockwise, and you're gonna hear a click. Okay, let me do that again. So twist it, and there's a click. There's the click. Now you should hear that. Okay, some trumpets you can literally just twist them, and then they will click into place, and it'll be in the right place. However, for mine clicks both ways, so I have to make